tore it down, I rebuilt it. I give myself a task, you can bet your ass I fulfill it. Yeah, man, I'm talking about realest, one of the realest to try. My family, SOE.
Pullin Thread Podcast, episode 56.
Are we already recording?
We're always recording.
Oh, we're not always recording, but...
Have you taken a picture with your phone? Right, just a picture.
Okay.
But then when you go in to use it or edit it, it says, do you want to see it in motion? And you're like, I thought I took a picture. What are you doing with 15 seconds on the front end and the back end? It's
live.
always recording.
Yeah, live. They're doing live. So we're live? Okay, first off, I love you. I do. I really love you. Second,
Are you talking to the audience or Brandel?
I'm talking specifically to the audience. Why would I be talking to
Are you selecting one of them in particular?
I'm always selecting one.
When you picture the audience, do you picture a black room that you can't see, or do you picture like one person?
When I say...
Do you picture them naked?
When I say I love you...
Naked.
That person knows who I'm talking about.
Got it.
That person knows what I'm talking about.
Got it.
What in the audience. Because it's January 3rd, so today is a Holy of Holy in the Church of Skully. January 3rd, special.
Oh, is that why they just bombed a mosque?
It's third miracle. Well, I mean...
Tunnels.
The CIA bombed the mosque, not...
Did that actually happen?
Yeah, of course it did.
Are you aware of what's going on in Ukraine right now?
Not really. I don't pay attention to Ukraine. It's a lost cause.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if
we'd leave fucking Israel alone, they could handle that shit too.
If Joe Biden's done funneling his illegal money into his son's bank account, so the war in Ukraine is over.
Yes. All of the mummies. They gotta get that. Every million is one drop of life back into them.
Yep, every million is one drop of life back into them.
What you been doing all week?
Mostly shooting guns.
How's your new year?
You mean the 2 days that have progressed so far?
3 days?
This day is not over.
Right, but I have 4 days in every day.
Oh, do you? I mean, it's going good. I can't complain. I mean, I don't,
You have anything accomplished?
It could be better, but it's not.
Is the gym fucking crazy right now?
I don't know, because the gym has had fucking weird hours because of the holiday. So I've actually
missed a trip that the fucking 24-hour gym is always closed.
So I've missed 4 days.
But you've been rucking.
Nope, I missed 4 days of all of it.
Did you at least make a campfire?
I haven't even made a campfire.
Do you put gasoline on those? How do you light those?
With a match. Strike everywhere.
With the gasoline.
No, you don't. Here's the first thing. Rule of thumb: if you've ever been to an SOE party, is you don't use gasoline. You use diesel because gasoline will singe your eyebrows off.
Why an SOE party?
Because the first one we did, we used gasoline.
By we, he means somebody who is not me.
Well, it's always not you, but still, we used gasoline and people almost died. After that, it was always diesel fuel, and that's why it was slow to start.
You know what really helps them is a leaf blower.
Or
napalm.
No, what did we use the second time?
A flamethrower?
Not the flamethrower.
Flare?
No.
Dragon's breath?
Dragon's breath helps.
That was all you, bro.
Dragon's breath.
That one.
That's good. Dragon's breath will get the fire going. It also will start the woods on fire too. So.
Yeah, it did. It shot right through the wood pile into the fucking wood. There was a lot of fires that night. A lot of fire.
We got them out though.
Yes, because we live in a rainforest. We're okay.
So what's exciting with you?
Man, people keep that's the one question, right? What's your New Year's resolution? I don't have a fucking New Year's resolution. I've been doing shit. I woke up on New Year's on January 1 and there was new sheep out there. The sheep had babies. So There's new sheep. So I built a sheep shelter. Fucking waste of time, like always. I go and buy all this hay and straw and shit. They don't use it. So I build this lean-to and put the straw in there, and they're still laying out there. They don't think... We do that for the appearance of other people, right? Why do you clean the dog's water bowl? Because your friends are coming over. Because the dog is still licking the other dog's butthole. He don't care. He's still going to drink the fucking dirty chicken shit water. So I built the lean-to. I started taking the little patio thing on the other tiny house over there, framing it in. I'm going to do a little greenhouse in there just so I can take some of that shit in there and carry it through the winter. Just the like the oregano and stuff like that.
Nice.
Planning bigger garden this year, much bigger garden. doing like seed selection, going through organizing seeds, figuring out how I'm going to do that.
Are you going to force everybody here to eat the food that's in the garden?
Well, we don't have to force them. Somebody just has to prepare it, right? And as you know, we grow a lot of food, but it takes labor to create that food. And then you also end up with food in the event of a collapse or something. Yeah, you're going to be happy to have that, and you're going to eat whatever the fuck is in that soup or that goulash or whatever. But we eat pretty well. Like it is work to go and defrost frozen meat, right? We don't eat frozen meat. So we're just doing it. It'll be good content. We're doing a lot of preservation of it. Amanda's been doing all kinds of witchcraft shit. I have these big giant cauldrons, like legit fucking witch cauldrons. But she's been all kinds of oil infusions and stuff, and making, like Lance was doing, making all these. This hurts. Oh, put this on here. What is that? Oh, it's urine of a stranger or whatever.
I told her last week she needs some Bunsen burners and something that shoots electricity across and shit.
I would love to have like a Jacob's ladder.
While she's making her stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you tried it? Have you tried it? Today. Would you say? Do you notice anything? Do you notice it?
I put it on my wrist, which is broken. So
your wrist is currently broken.
Scaphoid bone is broken completely.
How?
Skateboarding.
When?
Forever ago. I just can't bend my wrist.
Did you see the Mormons skateboarding?
So it's
Extreme Mormon.
So it hasn't healed.
No, it's two separate bones, and it's just I can't bend my wrist backward now. So that's why my wrist is always straight, but it can go down this way.
Oh, that is weird.
So you have to like doing these infusions and stuff into avocado oil or whatever. You're going to take the herbs or whatever you're doing, and you're going to let them sit in this for 10 weeks. And she has bought this thing that does the process in 2 hours. It's a machine. So pretty legit. I'll be like limping or something, or I'll be like, man, my leg really hurts. She's like, here, let me put this on there. And I don't ever think about, is this working? But Brandel will be like, hey, is your leg hurt? I'm like, no, I guess that shit works because it stopped hurting, right? So she has built or made a lot of this stuff. And she put it up for sale, and she has to currently make a fucking lot more of it right now. Like, a lot of it, like way more than I thought was going to sell sold. So that's what has been happening. And that's all her, man. I sat on a sewing machine last night for probably 5 hours and just pushed out a bunch of stuff that would get orders out.
Are we going to get her a wagon and pull her salves and ointments through town?
She should get with the Jesus lady with the giant cross.
Is she still there?
I do occasionally see her.
Huh.
Yeah, she has a.
She have a pup tent now that it's wintertime?
No, she has it's framed up like a little gazebo they put on the side of the road there. But she has like shower curtains hung up, so I think there's some kind of heater and shit. Last I saw it, there was a damn piano in there.
Where'd she get a piano?
I think that people drop all that shit at like the thrift store across the street.
And then she just goes and grabs it, drags it over.
She was laying, and there's only 2 lanes, right? It's 2 lanes of traffic this way, 2 lanes this way on Main Street. And she's laying in the road. And somebody called the police and like, hey, this lady's going to get run over. And they're like, oh, whatever. I don't know who she is. That's Betty. Just leave her there. Like, the paperwork we'll have to do if we touch her and try to engage her is way greater than if they just leave her and something happens to her.
Yeah.
She would be out at the dump. They said she used to be out there. Like and you never know what the real deal is. I don't want to go, hey, why are you a fucking crazy person? But they say she had lost a child at one point, and she would sit at the dump and just pray. And the bulldozers are coming over, and they like teeter, and there she is. Like so they don't know if she was trying to kill. And who knows if that's even the case?
Who knows?
But she is currently still with the world. Her body is. She used to be, she'd be bebopping down the road, heading to Walmart and shit. You'd see her. And this was like Bluetooth didn't exist. She had a boom box, like a big Walkman thing, and headphones, and there was no cord attached.
That's the best kind of music.
I guess.
That's music from the soul right there, the heart.
Yeah.
That's the best music.
The Lord is speaking to her.
Yeah, that's the best kind of music right there. Yep.
So what's the plan? Like, what's the push right now? Anything?
No push.
Nothing.
Content.
Trailer.
I mean, yeah, no, not really.
Gumball Rally. Cannonball Run.
We're going to do the Gambler 500. Let's see. We're going to go we're gonna go qualify for the national matches. Let's see what else.
The
we're
national match, like
yeah,
rifle national match.
service rifle.
Do you want me to get Dwayne to come out?
Anyways, no. So I don't know. I got all kinds of things in my head that I want to do this year that I'm going to try and do.
So if you're doing like Camp Perry type shit,
yes, Talladega apparently.
do you put the little silly jacket and do this shit?
If they let you, I don't know.
What would
know. I have not done it ever.
What would you show up with?
Service rifle, so it'd be M16. Probably an M16A4.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's not a Woodstock 03A3.
Well, they
or
have
some
those.
shit?
They have those events. So they have, M14, M1 Garand. They have those type of events. But I'm just gonna dip my toe in and do service rifle.
Are you aware there's a he has a pretty big YouTube channel. I don't remember what the name of it is. He came in here and watches all of your stuff, watches our stuff. And his YouTube channel is like foreign guns. People send him guns to do reviews and stuff on, but he's a competition shooter. He shoots military rifles in competition.
Are you talking about Ian from Foreign Weapons? Or are you talking about the guy that does sniper rifle shit?
Sniper rifle stuff.
Oh, yeah. I've never met him. He goes into Lance's all the time.
Super cool dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's local here or why he happened to be in the area when he came by. And he's like, hey, check this. You want to see some guns? I'm like, yeah. And he opens it. And there's some guns in there. I didn't recognize any of those guns that he had.
Yeah, he's actually, he's got to be somewhere around, well, I don't know. He's here in Tennessee somewhere.
I think he came in, I think he got an M1 Grand chest rig when he was here.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
He was super friendly dude. You should meet that guy.
Yeah. There's a lot of people I should meet.
Okay.
But, you guys know where I'm at.
That is the case. When you coming back to California in February?
Yeah, in February.
Yeah, you better not die, motherfucker. If you do, I'm not coming. It wasn't important enough to see you when you were alive. I'm not coming when you're dead.
No. You
can come here. If you die, you better die here.
Yeah, so, he's got a good channel, actually. He gets sniper rifles. I mean, I believe he started out with AKs, and then now he just does, like, sniper rifles, and he's got a 600-yard, might be 650, course of fire, and he runs all the guns through the course of fire, and it's pretty cool. Yeah,
that's neat.
Yep.
What's up with the trailer?
What's up with it?
I don't know.
We're at insulation phase, but again, holidays, man. I can't juggle family, friends, and relatives, and also
people were like, "Are we working Monday?" I'm like, "Why the fuck would we not work Monday?" Like, I would work Christmas if the damn post office was running.
Yeah, I know you would. Did you give him New Year's Eve? Oh, New Year's was on the Sunday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did you give him Monday off, or did they come to work on Monday?
No, we worked, and it's not about give it to them off. I mean, inevitably, you're going to have the same two people that never show up on Monday, not show up on Monday. But when you're like, hey, do you want to work or do you want to not work? They're like, no, we have all this stuff. We need to work.
Yep.
The crew running right now is responsible.
Good. That's what you need.
I just put an ad up. You never know how this is going to, well, you always know how it's going to go. When you put a not help wanted, we are hiring seamstresses. And the number one comment is, where are you located? If you can't fucking click the button a couple times to figure out where the fuck we're at, you're definitely not going to make it here. And then the number two is, what's the job? It says seamstress. So I had to go in there and edit it, also known as sewing machine operator. Like, if you don't know what a seamstress is, you can't do this. Like, we'll even teach you. Like, you just have to.
I think the problem there too is now that we're in 2024, a 2024 sewing machine operator is a hell of a lot different than the type of sewing that you're doing.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're a sewing machine operator at Carhartt, you're pushing a button. You're not
right.
You're not really sewing.
Yeah, we've pulled some good ones out of Carhartt. Like we've.
That's the other thing. If you want a job, he'll teach you how to sew.
We will. We'll take it. And I you know what I've really been seeing a lot, which I don't know what to think about it. I think it's impressive. Who's hiring 14-year-olds? Who's hiring 15-year-olds? I see a lot of that. Fuck, I'll hire them. Bring them here. We'll fuck if they can sit here for 3, 4, 5 hours at a time, we'll teach them a
What's
job.
No.
The labor law, I don't know what the labor law is. We always worked our kids because they were our fucking kids, you know. But they're posting it public, and I don't see anybody going, "Oh, you can't do that" or whatever. Like the fucking sheriff ain't gonna give a shit.
No, because I think 13.
It was 13 and a half.
I think 13 and a half is when you can get your first job, legal job.
I think it depends on the state, and then a lot of the federal regulations, I'm sure, have changed. But like my first legitimate job was working at McDonald's at 13 and a half.
And that's the only place that you should be working at 13 and a half is McDonald's.
14?
14 here?
Tennessee.
Tennessee? Okay, yeah. Legit.
Like you get a kid in here that, you know, just can't sit still. I totally understand that. But I've got plenty of other shit. Like if a young man comes in and really wants to work, like people think I'm joking when I'm like, hey, take all these brown rocks here out of all these gray rocks. And like, yes, sir. Like that kid will always last. If we got to have fucking 20 conversations over why we're pulling the tan rocks out of the gray rocks, and anybody listening, it's because we bought all the gray rock, and when we have to dig something up, all the brown rock comes up.
To the top. Yep.
So I just want it not there. Yeah. And that's what we have it for. That's the test. Are you hiring? Yes. Go take all the brown rock out of the gray rock.
Yep.
Yep.
You're getting paid very well to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, fuck, we feed you a meal better than if you had to go to a restaurant and buy it. It's a $35 plate of food always. We give you a shirt, 52 shirts a year. Some of those are hoodies and T-shirts. Nobody that works here has bought eggs in the last. I mean, if you were legitimately trying to save some money, you could live 100% off eggs that SOE will give you if you're an employee here.
Yeah, you do produce a lot of eggs.
Yep.
I should be taking them home with me.
Yeah, you absolutely can. They're good eggs.
Yeah.
We know what they were fed.
What are you feeding them?
Whatever they want.
Yeah, that's true.
Bugs. They eat lots of bugs.
That's good.
Lots of seeds.
Do you eat guinea eggs?
So guineas are kind of elusive. You'll think that these guineas don't ever lay eggs, but they actually disappear. They like to lay eggs in tall grass and brush and shit. So it's very rare that you're going to see
a guinea egg.
Uh-huh. And when you find the nest, there's 100 of them in there, and that guinea will sit there, and you're like, this bitch ain't got up. Like, she's going to just die incubating these eggs. So when I find one, I always give them, like I had a duck right now sitting on a hidden nest, so I always take a little feed over there and give it to her extra. Nice. If you see it, yeah.
Good.
So what have you shot this weekend?
Yeah, mostly shooting, because we're going to another.
Who's we?
Me and Sperling. We're going to another Tavor class at the end of January. And it's Tavor 2, so it's supposed to be hard.
That's cool.
So we're trying to not look like idiots.
Did you look like idiots?
No. But again,
was there an idiot?
No. I mean, the first class, Tavor 1, we went to, was pretty. It was very diverse in the crowd. And
that's because you have guys there. They're not there to be ninjas, right? They're there for the commonality of they just love that fucking bullpup.
Yeah,
and people make fun of the bullpup guys, right? They make so much fun that you have to be your own bullpup group.
A dude came because some brothers came, and one of them had.
You mean black gentlemen?
No, just they were brothers.
Like got you,
real brothers. And one of them did the whole course with an AR-15 because he didn't have a bullpup. I have just recently come to the realization, firing this thing for as long as I have been, regular AR-15s are silly. Like having a full size, having a 16-inch, because everybody wants to shorten their barrels down to 16 inches. Having a 16-inch full size rifle is just silly. The bullpup it's way better. The Tavor makes those things look like silliness. And then if you want to be the same size as the Tavor, you got to have a 10-inch barrel. So you're losing all your velocity, which is just silly.
So what's the barrel length in the Tavor?
16.
Is it easy to change it?
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it's not super easy to change the barrel, but they have 18s and 16-inch barrels.
Like the AUG. What do you have to do to change the AUG barrel?
Oh man, it's just a push of a button.
That's what I thought. So you can go from like light machine gun to.
AUG is the most versatile, but when you look at the old AUGs, so if you look at, the diehard AUGs, the fucking optics are horrendous because it's a giant donut.
I fired a full auto AUG and it flipped. It seemed, it was like weird when you and that fucking stage trigger.
Yeah,
thing.
it's a stage trigger for full auto on the original AUGs. I don't know what they do with the new ones. But good guns.
Didn't Tony make AUGs or something?
He didn't.
No?
He made his version of the AUG, not interchangeable.
Okay.
So like Tony's guns had to have, you had to have Tony specific magazines. I mean, it's not Tony specific magazines. I believe that Tony's guns, and I may be wrong on this, guys, because I don't have one. I believe his guns took AR mags, where the Steyr AUG took a proprietary Steyr AUG mag. And those are
like 35 round mags or something.
35 round mags. There wasn't a lot of interchangeability between the two systems. I never had an opportunity to shoot one of Tony's. When that company was hot, I wanted to get one because I didn't even have a Steyr AUG. And then I lucked into a Steyr AUG, and just one of those things.
I don't know why you would make a 5.56 gun these days that didn't take PMags. I mean, why? It's like fucking building a car that doesn't run on gasoline.
I don't think anybody does. I don't think anybody makes because even the Steyr AUG, the Steyr AUG, the modern Steyr AUG takes regular mags.
So a dude on live feed the other night, as we were getting off about to end the video, he asked, and I want to hear your response before I say anything about it. He said 308 or 30-06.
Again, the question would be, there's so much variable there. What are you doing?
That's what I said.
What's your application and what you're doing? You can do more with 30-06 than you can do with 308. But the difference is the 30-06 platforms, there's not that many of them anymore because everybody has gone to 308. So, it's to find a magazine fed 308 rifle to find a 30-06 magazine fed rifle compared to an AR-10, you just can't find them.
Did they ever exist? What was it?
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple magazine fed, like that
bar,
that BAR that fucking
James.
No, I think James had one. It's
company different, not Jaeger, different James.
Company in Oregon makes them. They're $8,000. Are they? I think maybe $6,000.
The first machine gun that James bought when he moved to Vegas was a bar. He said that it was the most accessible that he could get. And I think it was the most affordable machine gun at
probably
the time.
At that time, yeah.
Yeah.
But so there's just not the platforms anymore. So again, 30-06 is better than 308. I know people are going to be like, they're the same. No, they're not. 30-06 has way more. You can do more bullet calibers in 30-06 than you can do in 308. But again, the platform's kind of unique. Reality is most of the platforms now are going to be bolt action if you have a 30-06. So that really limits what you're going to do. Where 308, you can get a bolt action gun, you can get a gas gun, you can get, whatever you want, really. Short one, small one, fat one, big one.
Battlefield pickup.
Where you can't do that with a 30-06.
That's what my answer was. Do you want a battle rifle or do you want a deer rifle?
Yeah.
And I said
that's a good.
And I said, and if we're having this conversation, I need you to tell me that you already have an AR-15. You have a 5.56 gun also, because if I walk out the door and had to defend or engage anywhere around the building, what am I? 50 yards? Like,
right.
What the fuck am I doing with it? Unless you're shooting, through vehicles or something. But that when we talk about 30-06, isn't the black tip still available? Like, can you still get that on the market? You could still get an AP round.
You can still get black tip 30-06, but again, if your rifle is a 308, you can pull those. You can pull those Projos, reload them in 308. Now you have a black tip 308 round. So it's not, I would lean more towards as a usable weapon system, the 308 is better. If I was going to do something, if I wanted a rifle that I could hunt and kill people with, The 30-06 offers a lot more, a lot more variation in the type of bullets. I mean, you can get a fucking 110, you can get a 220 grain bullet for those things. So it offers a lot more variation, so you could do more with one platform. But again, you can do all the same shit really with a 308.
Somebody in the comments had also said in this conversation said get a 300 blackout.
For what purpose?
That's what I said.
Yeah. The 300 blackout is niche. So,
you mean niche?
Niche.
So,
it is not a. If your purpose is suppressive, if your purpose is a suppressed weapon, 300 blackout is perfect for that. But it's not viable enough to get rid of a 5.56 gun or get rid of a 308 gun. There's just no reason for
Bear
it.
said they were doing some OP4 for some unit, and he said they had some 300 blackouts, and he said it was like tick, 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 tick,
Yeah.
tick. But I mean, those are the, and he also said in the same conversation, he said those dudes come in on little birds, fucking time on target's like 120 seconds.
Yeah.
Like that's a game you're not playing in.
That's the problem with most tactical, most current tactical training is it's based off a group of individuals that, again, 120 seconds on target. So the tactics and the things they do apply specifically to that mission, but the broad mission of real combat, they don't apply.
Well, it's choreographed too, right? They have a whole fucking mock-up of that whole facility.
Sometimes. Yeah. I mean, they're good at what, don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
Those guys are good at what they do. When you, even back in the olden days when we were out at range 130, you take a fucking SEAL team or one of the Force Recon guys and run them through the kill houses. What was that, 3 months of fucking training out there? They get really good at what they're doing, and the target kind of doesn't matter, right? It's because of the way they train. The target doesn't matter. But that's a very specific mission set. It's a very specific mission set, and that, again, I can hold my rifle up like this for that 20 minutes that I'm going to be on target. But now put them back in that same spot, and say, hey, some shit is going to happen in the next week. We don't know when. You're not, all that tactic stuff changes because you can't be at that level all the time. Unless you're Delta Force, and then those motherfuckers just, I don't know what they do. They're always doing that shit.
Have you seen the guy from the Foreign Legion? He was a team guy.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
So did you watch the podcast? I guess he's done several of them.
I've just seen some of his interviews.
So he's on Mike Ritland's podcast, and I thought a bunch of the stuff he was saying was interesting. But Ritland was like, "Hey, did you ever do a demo for the 4th of July at Glorietta Bay? Do you remember setting up for those?
Yeah,
Did you ever go out for those?"
Yeah, I went for those.
Yeah, we used to set up at Glorietta Bay, and they'd come in just with blanks firing those fucking guns, and holy shit, those Blackhawks would be literally over you coming, and as they're firing down, but they'd have a rebreather team in the water, and they'd be down in there for hours, and then they'd just come up right out of the water. But we used to set up and sell equipment. We would set up at the Glorietta Bay while they had all their static displays, but we always had way better gear than that bullshit they were bringing out there. But that was a good time, man. We did that 4 or 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
We'd go out there for that, sell T-shirts and shit.
That was a good show that they put on.
They got in trouble when they came in and fast roped, and they'd hit that little platform out there as though it was a GoPlat, and they'd fast rope down, and some camera crew had reported that they had however, I don't know if it was 16 dudes or what, but from the time the rope hit the deck, they had all 16 dudes on deck in fucking 30 seconds or something. And apparently that was supposed to be classified information. So they actually throttled everything back at that point. And then I hadn't thought about it, but Ritland said in 9/11, when the towers got hit, they stopped doing the demo because that'd be an easy terrorist target, right? You have all those SEALs right there in one place to hit them all.
Yeah.
So that's kind of when that, and I didn't put those two together, but that's when they stopped doing that 4th of July demo.
Yeah, that used to be the standard. I think it was I want to say it was 20 guys out of a 43 in 18 seconds.
And that's with two of them.
That's running
That's two free falling.
Well, no, yeah, that's with two free falling. But
two guys are bouncing.
That's running the hellhole and the rear ramp. And I mean, that was just infantry. When I was with Charlie Company 19, that we were the Helo squadron, and man, our Helo unit, and we would be up on 53 area LZ all fucking day, just running faster and faster. Where they're like, never use your feet, just use your hands, and you would have 5 guys on a rope at a time.
Yeah, and
then they had the crash. And when they had to crash, all that shit ceased.
Everything slowed down. It's
like you couldn't. You had to stay seated until the first guy was off the road. I mean, I don't know what they're doing now. Do they even fast rope anymore? Who knows?
That was peacetime shit.
But yeah,
now they just teleport.
Probably.
Did you ever do a stabo?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did those all the time.
How many guys are on the stabo? Just 2 guys on a line?
No.
That's 2, 4, 6. Lay down and then they pick you up.
It's 2, 4, 6. I think it's 8. I want to say you got 8 on there. Yeah, we used to do that. It was back when it was Stapleton. Stapleton used to do that shit all the time, and they just fly you around like a fucking Disneyland ride.
Yep.
And then fucking bring you to the LZ.
Did you ever hear of guys getting smacked into
a dumpsters?
Yeah.
It's I mean, again,
is that one story told over and over? Or has it happened many times?
It's one story told over and over again. Again, those the military does a lot of shit that is very like Disneyland, right? We do a lot of Disneyland shit that I don't want to say it gets treated like Disneyland, but it becomes a regular thing. And the regular things that we do that the military does are really super dangerous. Whether that, even something simple as spy rigging, if the crew chief and the pilot aren't seeing the same thing, you can come in too hot and burn guys into the asphalt. So it's super dangerous, the stuff we do, whether it's fucking diving, jumping out of airplanes. That shit is super dangerous, but the military has probably learned the hard way, years past, learned the hard way on how to minimize the damage or threat to the individual soldier. And so it kind of looks like, when you're doing these things, it kind of looks like it's just Disneyland, but again, it's all super dangerous. It doesn't matter what it is. It's super dangerous. I seen a kid just loading, when you think about the Muse going out on deployments, right? And you load all the vehicles. And when you load all the vehicles up, you get them in the well deck, you got to chain them all down, and you got to do all this shit to them to keep them from moving around when the ship's out at sea. I seen a M151. They're going to put the M151 in the spot, kids standing in front of the vehicle, guys in the vehicle, and they had too much slack in the chain on the tires, so they chained them all down, but there was too much slack in the chain, and the kid in the vehicle popped the clutch, and the motherfucking Jeep jumped up and just crushed the dude. Now, they've probably done that, from just the military perspective, they've done that 1,000 times, but it just takes that one thing to happen where, holy shit, somebody just got killed. And then everything again. Did
it kill him?
I don't remember if it killed him or not.
But he didn't deploy.
Oh, he definitely didn't deploy. His hips would have been broke.
There's a knee-jerk reaction to a lot of that too. Like the immediate reaction is, oh shit, we can't load these Jeeps onto a ship. We need to take the ship out of the water so that it's still and load it and then put it back in the. You know how crazy that shit is.
There's always a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction where they're like, okay, no more.
Every time there's an accident, and it's not that there's an accident; it's that public found out there was an accident. That's always what it was.
Well, I would say that from a leadership perspective, right? You don't want to get it's not the Russian army. You can't have 10% casualties every time you train. So, from a leadership perspective, if you're doing your job right, which a lot don't, if you're doing your job right, you want to find out why the accident happened and what you could do to mitigate that accident from happening again, only to keep, your service members safe and make sure that it's not, because a lot of times a lot of times it's just the knowledge of what could happen. So, for example, a 46. I said a 43 earlier. CH46. I don't know why I said 43.
I just figured you knew.
A CH46.
That's a dual prop.
Yeah,
Big
it's a
bird.
dual prop, CH46. That's what the Marine Corps uses.
Still.
I don't know if we still have any. Maybe
Fucking
we might.
those things had to be
Yeah, we
100
had 'em
years
forever.
old when you were flying in them.
We had one. We actually, Purple Foxes had one that was from Vietnam.
Sikorsky's, right?
Yeah, that was originally from Vietnam, had bullet holes in it. So all the Marine Corps aircraft had been painted to the new scheme, except for this one. This one always flew olive drab. It was pretty cool that they had that. You were excited if you got to get on that 46. I'm sure it wasn't the original one. I'm sure they just nostalgically they kept painting new ones with that green. But when the Osprey came out and we were having those accidents, I talked to
I think the fucking Osprey killed more people than the accidents ever killed.
But I talked to one of the 46 pilot that we had that was our FAC, and I'm like, why are these things so dangerous? Why are we fucking? He goes, the issue is we don't know, right? The issue is we don't know what the danger is because you can't find out about the danger until after it already happens. He's like, the tech manuals for the 46 is this big. There is not a single thing, nothing that can happen on a 46
Right.
where they will not go, we knew that. Like if a bolt falls out, if a fucking as soon as a seal pops and starts leaking oil, they're like, "Yep, we got." They know they're like, "Yep, we got 3 hours and 42 seconds until the whole aircraft falls out of the sky." They like because of all the years of service. Where with the Osprey, they didn't know.
Right.
They don't know what the difference. What bolts can fall out, what can't fall out. So it takes time, and that's just again you have to do due diligence and mitigate the threat to the force and make sure that you're operating in the safest manner, but also considering the training value in what you're doing, right? You have to train guys to fight. You can't, like I had a fucking gunner. Yeah, a gunner. Tell me that we will train Marines how to patrol when we do go to war. I'm like, you are a fucking soup sandwich. You're just a soup sandwich. But
what is gunner?
E9.
But what is?
He's an infantry. He's basically the master of infantry skills.
But not a gunnery sergeant or master.
No, he's master gunner, sergeant gunner.
Got it.
So, anyways, that shit happens all the time. Where people will take a shortcut. People will take a shortcut in order to either save face because they really don't know what they're doing, or because they don't want if the command is saying, "Hey, you need to shorten your course by 10 days," and you cut something out of that course that will be vital in combat, but nobody pays attention to in peacetime, they'll do it. They'll do it, and they'll do it with the guys in their head that, if we go to war, we'll tune that shit up later. And that, that's fucking wrong. That gets people killed. 100% gets people killed.
You can load gun trucks and stuff into a Osprey.
Yes, you can load. The Osprey has the interesting thing is the Osprey has the. I know somebody's going to be like, it's got 2 more square feet than the fucking 46. The Osprey has the same internal payload as the 46.
So what can we put in it?
In theory, you could put 2 Jeeps in it. Or the ITV bullshit.
That's the mini. That's the thing that replaced the MRAP, the IOTV.
No. You can't put any of those vehicles in there. It would be your
Rangers.
Your
Polaris,
Rangers. You can
Razors.
put your Rangers and Polaris in there. M151, 2 M151s would go in there. I think.
Is there ever a situation where you would load those vehicles in there with people in them? You can airlay those vehicles, right? We can parachute those vehicles out.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Can we parachute them out with people in them?
No.
Why?
Because they hit like a sack of shit.
Okay, so you're going to jump out separate.
You're just going to jump out separate, get there,
vehicles.
meet the vehicle. Yeah, they hit like shit.
Okay.
The U.S. Air Force.
It's going to fuck them up.
The U.S. Air Force fucks up tons of vehicles every year. It's not. I'm sorry, Air Force. I know you guys are professionals. It's not the Air Force's issue. It's just
testing.
It's if one parachute, because usually those things are coming down on 3 chutes. And so if one doesn't open, your speed is different, if depending on how it noses in. So they fuck up LAVs, they fuck up all kinds of shit just testing, but that's what they do.
So the Navy has a boat called the Mark V. It's this fast attack. It's
Yeah.
like a damn ship, right? They can put all this shit on there. They used to have another boat called the Mark V. I don't know why they recycled the name, but they had the cigarette boats, right? Those scarabs.
Yeah.
They were painted with the like triangles, the light blue, baby blue, and the white. They wanted to airlay those things, right? So they were dropping them. I think they were will they fit in a C-130?
I believe that's what they were using.
So they're
C-130s.
airlaying them in the kelp beds.
Yeah.
With the C-130, and they fucking destroyed like 100 of these things. Rich was talking about being out, and he's like, there's just fucking fiberglass pieces everywhere. Like it just shattered when they hit the ocean with these things.
Especially for those guys, right? So you know when you think about the SEALs or any of the tier assets, when they are looking for something new, like a new insert platform or whatever, they're inventing it. So of course they would have fucking crashed a bunch of boats in the water because they're trying to figure out what is the minimum amount of equipment I need in order to put this boat in the water. And so they're always inventing that shit. You know, when the Air Force puts a LAV on one of its aircraft and is going to fucking drop one of those, they've got a fucking manual that's this thick that says these are all the fucking safety precautions. These are all the things you need. They're not reinventing it every time they go out to drop one of those aircraft. So when a fucking a Humvee or whatever tows in, it's usually a mechanical problem. It's not we're trying to figure out how many parachutes we need. They already know. It's usually a mechanical problem. Parachute doesn't open, a line snaps, something goes wrong where that fucking vehicle eats shit. Where when you're talking about, Delta or SEALs or whatever, and they're like, we want to jump in from space. There's a couple of guys that are going to fucking burn up in orbit before they go, oh, wait a minute, we need a little extra suit shit, right? Because they're inventing it, right? If you think about all the insert platforms, all the crazy insert platforms that we use commonly today, it was all invented.
Well, I mean,
by ninjas.
Don't you think that's what Red Bull really is? That whole Red Bull program is just for fucking CAGs, delivery system shit. That kid jumping from the hot air balloon in space and shit.
I think it
and didn't somebody? The new thing is to jump without parachutes. They jump fucking they land in nets.
I don't know.
Have you not seen this?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume that you could fucking squirrel suit. You could squirrel suit into a net.
Yeah, they're doing it. Yeah.
I mean, it's not new. Like when you think about, when we just talked about Stabo rig, right? The Stabo rig was originally a ladder. Like originally it was like, hey, if we drop a ladder from a helicopter, you could climb up the ladder and get out of the jungle.
Like a nylon caving ladder.
And then motherfuckers are falling off the ladder, right? Because you got all your gear and all this shit. So it's like, they're like, that's a little dangerous. Hey, you know what we could do? We could fly over a field with a cargo net, and you motherfuckers could just grab the cargo net.
Imagine the broken fucking wrists and fingers.
And click yourself in, and then we could fly you back. And then it, went from there to we'll drop a rope, and then all those LERP teams would have harnesses on underneath their kit. And
SPY was special purpose insertion extraction. I don't remember what Stabo was. When I was starting to look at gear before I was building gear, there was a company, I thought it was Survival Systems, Elevated TSSI or something like that. And all of their rigs had SPY rigs built into them.
Yeah.
And then when we started doing gun shows and stuff, I would see, like, I bought some SPY rigs. We never used them for anything.
I don't know. Like when I see those LERP guys, from Vietnam and shit, and they had the SPY harnesses on underneath their kit. I don't know fucking how they did it. I don't know how they walked around the jungle. And maybe they did. Maybe that was just for pictures. Again, if you were one of those guys, because that thing, even when it's not tight, it's just this fucking constrictive thing that you're wearing that can't make it easy to walk through the goddamn jungle.
All the vests, like the first vest I had really seen I remember sitting in electronics class in 8th grade, sitting in the back looking at this catalog of just this gear company. And they were made more like jackets, right? Remember that combat swimmer jacket I did out of those M65s with the inflation bladder and the beaver tail and shit? They were kind of like that. But that harness was there, right? So you had an attachment here and an attachment here, and I think it even had a third one. So when you were going to utilize this thing, you just kind of put them together and clipped into that wire on that rig.
It's still a fucking, I mean, again, it's still this crazy thing that you're wearing underneath all your kit.
You know, spy rig or fast ropes come in multiple lengths. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can get multiple lengths. I believe it's
60, 90,
60,
120.
90, and yeah, I was going to say 110.
Yeah, maybe it is 110. We had one at at Mom's house. We had one.
Yeah, multiple lengths.
I never got to use that.
That's because
it's fucking heavy. Like, you're not just going to put it on a bridge.
You know, I mean, we could have.
Yeah.
We could have. That's how they do it in the old days.
Opium,
they just put the good shit in there, right?
Heroin. They invent one new drug to get you off the old drug, and the new drug's way fucking worse.
Always. Yep.
So how long till you are in a helicopter again, you think?
Never?
No.
Hopefully never. Hopefully never, because there's only one helicopter that flies around Waverly.
It ain't going to be that one.
Hopefully never. I don't ever want to be in that helicopter
unless
I'm in the passenger seat for some reason. But no, never.
During Civil War, I'll bet you're...
no, there's no way. Our side's not going to have a helicopter.
You don't think so?
No. I mean, not initially. Eventually we'll have helicopters, but not initially we won't have helicopters. We'll have an M1 Abrams.
You'll have a helicopter.
Like day 2. Or where is there helicopters around here? Well, I guess I could go to...
When they meet up with the host foreign nation, the resistance, fucking
Clarksville. I mean,
when they're resupplying,
there's a lot of helicopters up there.
Could you shoot from one of those jetpack?
I don't know. I've never flown one of those.
Could you shoot from one? Yeah.
They have some that are armed.
I'm sure eventually. I don't think the ones that they're actually using. Like, have you seen the one where the Navy,
with the stupid cones and
where
shit on their arms?
he flies up onto the ship with it? Okay, so there is a jetpack that there is
they're doing them all. Like, they have races with them in Dubai.
There is a viable jetpack that I see military personnel using. The problem is, it's what we were talking about before. It becomes an insert or an extract platform. And so they're really trying to figure out how to use it. Now, I've seen it. I don't know which Navy it was, but the guy's on one ship and he flies over to another ship and lands on the other ship. That's a concept, right? How do you use that to your advantage? You got a couple problems. One, the motherfucker's loud as hell, right? So it's not like you're going to jetpack over to my ship and I'm going to be like, "Oh my God, where'd you come from?" Right? It's super loud. 2, it's super slow. Like he's slow, meaning shootable. And 3, I am sure it takes probably not a lot of training, but it takes an amount of training to ensure that you just don't shoot up in the air and then fucking nosedive into whatever you're doing. So again, there's going to be a lot of Navy SEALs or Delta Force guys that are going to be like full 100% disability because they're like, jetpack day, jetpack day. But eventually they'll figure out something where they'll be like, yeah, we can use this jetpack to do some crazy,
like safe mode or something on it.
Probably fucking, you know who's probably using it right now is Space Force. Space Force is probably doing something in the upper atmosphere right now where they're cruising around in the jetpacks.
I was about to say, if we've seen a video of it, don't you think they already have something?
Well, keep in mind, the videos Jeff's talking about, we saw those videos 5 years ago. I mean, who knows where they're at with this shit right now. There was a company probably 4 years ago, I want to say it was California, and you'd go out there for 2 weeks and learn how to fly this thing, and you'd buy this system from them. I mean, who knows what the technology is right now. They have races that it looks like it's on a fucking NASCAR track where dudes line up in these jetpacks and they race with these jetpacks.
But again, it's just how it gets used, how it gets employed, and there'll be, there's a bunch of ninjas somewhere that are thinking, how can I use this piece of kit? The thing that I see the problem is they're using their hands, both hands, to control it. And so that means that the entire time you're in flight, you're vulnerable. Unless you create a firing system that's similar to like the Apache. So he's wearing a helmet and he can fucking look around and he's got like a, I don't know, little minigun that shoots. The problem with that though is now you've increased the weight of the whole thing. And what does that take away from the operation of the thing, right? Do we want a one-man helicopter? Do we want a jetpack helicopter that shoots machine guns, or do we want something that inserts people in hard to get to places, right? Because normally, if I wanted to board a ship, I got to get a bunch of ninjas with their little safety helmets on, and have them climb down into or drive out of a well deck on a ship, and they have to take the ocean in their boat over to the other boat, and then they have to get fucking ladders, and they have to cave ladder up. That's time.
Have you ever climbed a ladder?
That's
spinning around.
Yeah.
That's this wide.
Yeah, that's time. That's time and distance. All things that are not good for being sneaky, right? Now, the SEALs can do it very well. I don't know why I keep talking about the SEALs. There's a lot of people who can do it well, but the SEALs can do it very well at night, undercover, get on a boat, nobody knows they're there.
Because they're the killers. They're the best killers.
So
if you
why
want to kill people, you send SEAls.
So why?
If you want to build churches and roads, you send special forces.
Why a jetpack? Right? Why 20 dudes in a jetpack?
Yeah, cumbersome.
They could get there faster, but then again, how are they carrying their gear?
How long you got on deck trying to take that
I don't know.
motherfucker off?
It'll be interesting to see it, because again, we probably will see some military operation in the not so distant future where they're like, they jetpacked in.
Yeah, they'll use them against U.S. citizens.
So
why don't we just use drones for everything now?
Well, we are.
For everything.
Well, they are using drones more than you fucking realize.
Why is there even?
I mean,
because
they're
drones,
blowing up. They're blowing up houses in cities.
Why are there soldiers?
I'm just saying, why not just use drones for everything?
Because again,
they're using all these kamikaze drones too.
Again, the drone is a unique item that is not really in the military system. So yes, we do have drones, but it's a unique item. The problem with the idea of just using drones is it's too easy to shut that down. It's too easy. It is too easy to shut down the drone's ability to do drone shit. So that is why you're not going to have, a drone army, because a drone army is vulnerable to cyber attack. And then if you put all your eggs into drones, and a fucking 14-year-old in fucking Mississippi with his iPhone is like, hey, it'd be cool if these drones started attacking each other. Boop, you're fucked, right? You're fucked. Drones have a specific place and purpose, but they are not the
end all be all.
Yeah, end all be all. They're not like, example is, while drones are deadly in Ukraine, they have not turned the tide for anything. That they haven't turned the tide of war in Ukraine. The war is still fucking going on. They're still using tanks. They're still using aircraft. They're still using all that shit, even though that there are drones everywhere. Eventually, DARPA, if you're listening, you will listen to me. Again, we're creating all these things to shut down drones. We're doing it wrong. You don't kill the dog, you kill the dog handler. Same thing with drones. Not all of them, but the 85% of the drones that are being used in Ukraine are being controlled by an individual person. So I don't care about that drone. I care about that individual person. So identify the signal, which we can do. We can identify the signal that's coming from that drone. That drone operator is within a mile. Fire a motherfucking missile that identifies the signal and goes to the device. Kill the operator. You only got to do that about 50 times, and then no one's going to be flying drones anymore. Or not necessarily they won't be flying drones anymore, but they will have to come up with a new way of doing it, and that builds you time to figure out how to keep killing those people who are flying the drones. That's how you do it. Fuck the drone. The drone is dumb without this dude. and his fucking iPhone and shit, kill the operator. That would be really easy to do. As a matter of fact, honestly, it's easier. It would be easier for them to identify the signal and kill the operator than it is to actually disable the drone. So, again, DARPA, get your head out of your ass. I don't need a missile that shoots down drones. I need a missile that kills fucking operators.
Who do you think was flying the drone that blew up the house near Washington, D.C. a few weeks ago?
Some 14-year-old. His mom's basement.
Who do you think was flying the drone that hit the Pentagon?
Some 14-year-old in his basement.
Probably
the CIA
not.
gave him the fucking drone.
The Tomahawk.
The CIA gave him the drone. Anyway, so that's my take on it. I don't think, drones are cool, but they're not the be all. The Russians have a cool one. The Russians, like John said just a minute ago, they have one that loiters. So it's actual munition. They fire that fucker off, and they don't have to have a target. It just flies around until it finds a target, and then it attacks it. That's kind of cool. But again, that particular drone too can be disabled through electronic warfare.
I mean, if they can, they can make it so your drones, and maybe it's just my drone, right? Maybe you can I know you can jailbreak a drone, so maybe it negates this. But when Obama was in Nashville for whatever, we weren't anywhere near where fucking Obama was. I was trying to film a big graveyard, and that drone wouldn't fucking take off. It wasn't leaving the fucking ground.
Well, yeah, because again,
they had it all jammed.
They're not necessarily jammed, but they're vulnerable because, again, a drone that me and you are operating requires communication.
Mm-hmm.
And all you have to do is interrupt the communication, meaning tell the drone that it can't take off. Right? And so...
Yeah. Have you heard, there's a Secret Service supposed whistleblower says that Zelensky was in the United States for some amount of time, got citizenship, owns a bunch of properties and stuff, and they're bringing him to the United States. He's going to reside in the United States.
Okay. 100% fact. Not less than 2 weeks ago, me and Joe Roscoe played pool with Zelensky and his bodyguard right here in Waverly, Tennessee. We played pool with him. Nice guy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He was not happy that I was calling him Zelensky all night, but 100% we played pool with him all night. So this is a true fact. And his bodyguard.
There's only 2 pool tables in Waverly.
No, that place has 5.
Can you confirm this?
That place has 5.
Have you seen it?
And so we played pool with Zelensky here in Waverly. He has a $8 million property in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
multiples.
I don't know why he was here in Waverly. On the DL, probably in the down low because the war's not going well.
Have you seen all the illegal immigrants coming ashore off boats? They're bringing in like fucking ribs and shit with them.
No, I haven't seen it.
It's hitting the United States. It's all white girls, like these humanitarian people coming out and fucking giving them clothing and food and shit. And they just change their clothes, put on their fucking brand new clothes and shit. And then I heard, I have not seen this. I have heard that a bunch of stores and all these malls just have all these fucking clothes set out on display, and if you're illegal alien or whatever, you can come up and just fucking take what you want, just in like local shopping malls. And
imagine a country so plentiful that you can just give stuff away. Whatever. I don't care.
Have you seen any of them yet?
Who? Illegals?
Uh-huh.
No. Well, besides Zelensky playing pool, but I'm sure he's here on a visa.
I think he's a U.S. citizen now.
Maybe.
So he's gonna have his own Secret Service detail.
He wouldn't have a Secret Service detail, but he'd have his own detail. Kind of like Fauci. Fauci doesn't have a Secret Service detail, but we pay a shit ton of money so he can have a detail.
Are you sure he doesn't have a Secret Service?
Yeah, it's not
detail?
Secret Service detail. It's a private contract that we pay for.
RFK still not have Secret Service?
I don't know.
It was denied like 3-4 times.
I don't know, but again, when's the last time you heard of RFK? When's the last time you seen RFK? Like, he was out there big. Now he's kind of...
Think they killed him?
No, I don't think they killed him, but they might have been like...
Could you identify Nikki Haley if you saw her?
Yeah, I could.
I don't know. Is she attractive?
I mean, I don't know what you mean by attractive. She's a good looking woman, I think.
Does she look like a fucking congressman?
Nikki Haley?
Yeah.
Not really.
How old would you say she is?
Like, she's got to be in her either late 40s or early 50s, maybe.
Do you know
40s?
Bet David, Valuetainment?
Yeah.
Boy, he fucking hates Nikki Haley. They must have asked her to come on the show. And he's like, let me tell you who Nikki Haley was. Because this dude's a billionaire, right?
Right.
Sold his insurance company for $40 billion or something. Started this podcasting stuff. They're all over in Miami. And he says, we were at a restaurant and my children were there. I think, Tico and his other son, I think they're 6, 5, 15 maybe, Yeah. And he's like, our immediate family, my father was there. We were at this very nice restaurant, and we have a relative who we see maybe once a year. And the waiter is coming by and, bringing everything. And this person who they don't see very often snaps, can we, to get their attention. And he's like, right then, he's like, kids, if you ever do that, I'll kill you right here in public. You do not do that. And he, hey, I that's not cool. We always, because they go there all the time.
Right,
that's like their place. And he said, that's Nikki Haley. He's like, Nikki Haley is, oh, the common folk. Oh, those are cockroaches. And he's like, he's like, RFK does podcasts. Vivek does podcasts. Trump does podcasts. Nikki, even, who's the Florida guy? Governor.
Oh, DeSantis. He's like, you can tell DeSantis hates doing podcasts, super uncomfortable, but he still does podcasts. Whereas Nikki Haley, he's like... So he's upset that she didn't do his podcast.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
Again, everything's perspective, right?
Sure.
Everything's perspective, and why would you... we've created this new platform, this new media source.
Well, I don't think we've created it, but it definitely exists. And if you're not utilizing it, mainstream media is fucking dead.
We've created this. You say mainstream's media dead, but again, podcasts have not elected a president.
I think Rogan definitely will fucking sway a president.
Maybe, but podcasts haven't elected a president. Podcasts haven't influenced very much yet. And again, because it's new, right? From a political perspective, why would you go on this platform? Why would you go on this platform where people will ask you whatever the fuck they feel like asking you, and you don't have a say in what they're asking you? So from a political perspective, I see her point, and that may not even be her point, because it's perspective. Maybe her point is, you are fucking beneath me. I am not going to go on your platform, right? Maybe that is her point, but there's no reason to go on a fucking, maybe Joe's, because he does have reach, right? But again, the problem is when fucking Nikki Haley or whoever.
You're about to get your chance.
Yep, fast rope. 16 guys on the roof of this fucking building in no seconds. When you're running for president or anything like that, again, just like the fucking, with Hillary Clinton, they know generally what the questions are going to be that are going to be asked, right? They're not going in there blind. It's not fucking two politicians between a fern or some shit where you don't know what the fuck they're going to ask you. Podcasts, that's the way it is, right? I don't know what you're going to ask me, and I'm not even fucking running for president yet. So, I would say from a political perspective, it's like Hillary Clinton being on Saturday Night Live. She's a fucking soup sandwich. She didn't know what the fuck she was doing, but she did it because other dumbass politicians were doing it. You really can't put yourself in that position. If you're running for president or you're running for higher office, you really need to be holier than thou. You really should, and I'm not just talking about perspective or how you're presenting yourself. I'm talking about the reality of that higher office. If you are not willing to put yourself on a higher moral ground in order to hold that office, then you shouldn't be in that office. It's no different than when I rail against Crenshaw. Crenshaw is doing insider trading because it's legal for you guys. Yeah, right. But it's not legal for the rest of America, and you cannot write any law that is not equal across the board. So if you step in that office, and they say, if you step in, if you become, President of the United States, and when you step into that position and they go, hey, guess what? Eating babies is okay as long as you're the President of the United States. And you go, are you sure it's okay? And they're like, yeah, it's okay. And you start eating babies, you should not be president. You should be fucking fired because you know what is right and wrong. And if the laws do not apply equally to all Americans, then the laws do not apply, period. So, no. I don't know. Nikki Haley, the reality of Nikki Haley is she worked for Donald Trump. Donald Trump liked her. She left his service and immediately went into work for all the government contract, all the warmongers. So she already has those guys, L3 and fucking Northrop Grumman. Those guys are already in her pocket. Why jeopardize that by going on some fucking bullshit podcast and being like, yeah, I eat babies? I mean, because you never know what the thing is that's going to slip out that's going to ruin you in the polls. Think about it. Joe Biden, before his presidential election, stayed in the basement for fucking 5 months. Never made an appearance, and he got 80 million votes. So why expose yourself?
Well, because he didn't get 80 million.
I know he didn't. And I know that Obama knows he didn't get those votes either, right, Obama? Because there's no way he could have got more votes than you. But again, why expose yourself? There's no reason when you're going for higher office to expose yourself like that. So I don't know. And again, everybody in Congress looks at the rest of America like they're peasants. It's not just her.
Did you see the car bomb yesterday?
Where, in Iran?
No, in the United States.
No, never heard of it.
Yep.
Didn't make the news. What car bomb?
Car bomb.
Where?
Was it D.C.?
I don't know. Are you thinking of when they tried to blow up the Love Bridge in Niagara Falls?
No, just it's similar incident. This was yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah. Did you see in Memphis they had a peaceful Palestine protest, shut down a bunch of roads and shit.
Was it peaceful?
It seemed to be peaceful.
Okay, I don't care.
You saw the lockdown at LAX?
No.
Yeah, Palestine protest. LAX, same time, same thing happened in New York at a big airport in New York. Same thing. No gunfire. Like people started messaging it to me. I'm like, is there any gunfire?
I mean, peaceful. Who cares?
It didn't ignite. It didn't take off.
It's a peaceful protest.
Yeah, it didn't take off.
Yeah, I don't care. They accosted Alec Baldwin in New York City, though.
What happened?
Apparently, he was just walking by. Apparently, he had somewhere to go, and the Palestinian protesters were like, "Why aren't you in the protest?" And he's like, "I support the Palestinian people for a free state." Blah blah blah. And then they just attacked his ass.
Baldwin said that?
Yeah.
And they attacked him.
Yeah, they still attacked him even though he gave the party line. Yeah. Because, again, it gave them notoriety, right? Now they have this incident where they're with Baldwin, and it's just people are whatever. If you really support the Palestinians, like if you really, really support the Palestinians, planes go over there all the motherfucking time. Go support them.
Just thinking of
Just
planes.
go.
Did you see
Go. But you won't. You won't, because you don't really support the Palestinians. You're just full of shit. You like to go out with your flags, whether it's rainbow, Palestinian, Israeli. It doesn't matter. You like to do your thing and pretend like you care about the fucking world, but none of you really do.
Did you see the Japanese airliner explode?
Yeah. Tragedy, but people survived, which is good.
I think the majority of people survived. I think a few did not. What happened with that?
I don't know. I thought 2 planes collided.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That a plane clipped it, but I don't know. I didn't look at. I have been news in the dark.
So so you're not aware of all the tidal waves happening around there.
No, I know, but I know that tidal waves. Come on, Pismo Beach got some waves, and some $1 million RVs got washed out to sea. That's about it.
So it happened multiple other places also.
Well, they had the big earthquake in Japan.
Yes, and which is I guess happening right now. So they're still having tsunamis and stuff off of that.
Yeah, when you drop a fucking rock way in the Pacific Ocean, especially by Japan because of how deep it is, the water's there, those waves end up coming over here. All the garbage from Fukushima washes up on Oregon and California coast is still
even the cars and shit. Yeah, it's going to be Godzilla.
It'd be so fucking cool if it was Godzilla. Like, it'd be cool as shit if Godzilla came out and was just like, "What's up, bitches?" That'd be awesome. I mean, he wouldn't last a week, really, or probably not even a day.
Why?
They'd fucking nuke his ass.
Who would?
Everybody. Giant lizard coming out of the ocean, breathing fire. Everybody, that would be the one thing that would unite the world. They would be like, kill Godzilla, and then there'd be a bunch of white girls out there with protest signs. Don't kill Godzilla. He is just a loving creature. But again, that would unite everybody, especially if Godzilla was stomping around somewhere in Tokyo. I feel sorry for the Japanese though. For some reason, Godzilla hates Japan. He never goes anywhere else. Like he's never been to New York City. I mean, he's never been to Europe.
That's because King Kong's there.
But that's another thing I hate.
King Kong?
I hate King Kong. King Kong is the dumbest of them all. And the reason why is because King Kong climbed the Empire State Building and hung out and swatted at biplanes. He can't compete with Godzilla. Godzilla tail smash Empire State Building. They don't even fight on the same plane.
I don't think they're the same time period.
We had to make King Kong bigger so he could fight with Godzilla. It's just dumb.
Did Godzilla exist in black and white?
Oh yeah, Godzilla exists in black and white, of course.
I remember seeing King Kong in a movie theater.
King Kong is in black and white too, though.
Yeah, originally. Yeah, because they were biplanes and shit.
Biplanes, yeah. Again, hey, Hollywood, biplanes do not have to get close enough to King Kong to be able to swat at them with machine guns. They can just fly in circles and shoot them with the machine guns and then go home and reload, have a sandwich, come back, shoot King Kong some more. Dumb. Just dumb. I should be making movies because you guys don't know how. All right. Anyways, you like King Kong? You're probably team King Kong, aren't you?
No.
No? Are you sure? I bet you are.
Neither one. I liked Battlefield Los Angeles.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, I thought they stepped it up.
That was actually a really good one. Only because it's the Marines. See no Army motherfuckers there. And what did the Marines do? They saved the lone Air Force girl who's out there all by herself and shit.
Jessica Lynch.
Yep, kind of.
She's an Army girl.
Yeah, Army girl.
All right, that's all I got.
That's it? Did we only do like 26 minutes?
22.
22 minutes?
Your favorite caliber?
It is my favorite caliber.
Deuce.
More people are killed with 22 caliber weapons in this country than any other weapon.
Is that because there's more of them?
I think it's just because we clown off with them a little more.
It's the first thing you hand a child.
Yeah,
is a 22.
I think that's because we clown with them a little more than we do with other things.
Did you ever accidentally shoot yourself?
Never.
Almost?
No. I had somebody else almost accidentally shoot me with a 22, but not me personally.
You ever shot anybody with a 22?
No. Well, I mean, if you count 5.56, it is really just a 22.
Same exact thing.
Pretty close. It is pretty close. Same exact thing. But yeah. Well, what is this? Episode 58? Hey, wait a minute.
Okay.
I do have something that we need to discuss, maybe offline or not, but we got to figure out how to get the goddamn podcast out a little bit faster.
When do you want it?
Well, as I look at my feed, I'm only at 41.
Yeah, because it's for members only at first.
I know, but how at first? Because again, if we're going to end up talking about the election, and it will have been over for fucking 4 months.
And they got to be members.
Okay, here's what's happening. Members see this.
Right.
This one we're doing right now, they will see next week.
Next week?
Yes.
How come they can't see it this week?
They can see it.
Because today's Wednesday, he's going to author it and do it all up, and it's going to go up, and then whenever Austin sets it for publication, so I don't know what day they go out, and then they come out, they republish about 90 days later, they're coming out to the general public.
We have to start doing future podcasts.
Okay.
So
predicting the
do you want to predict the future, or do we want to go to the future and do a podcast?
I think we should maybe try one of each. But I think, like next week, we should be recording podcast 60.
Okay.
Right?
So we're going to skip 59?
No, we got to record those too, but we have to record them in the future so that when you're watching them in the past, they're relevant. We're talking about Ukraine, the war. By the time people see this shit about Ukraine, there's probably going to be a Russian flag flying over the goddamn
Here's the beauty
country.
Of this. Here's the beauty of it. They're still relevant. You see people say, oh, this was last year. There's still relevance, right? And then they're like, oh, everything that dude said last year actually happened and came to pass.
But how do
I should probably become a member.
But how do they know? How do they know that we're not actually recording them in the past? So it sounds like we're predicting the future. That's what we really should do. We should really start recording them. We really should start being used in the news, record it after, like it's in the future, and then everybody will think that we are in the future, and we'll get more Patreons because they'll be like, these guys, somehow they knew that Godzilla was going to kill King Kong.
All right, I got to pee.
John's got to pee.
We're going to pause this, and then we're going to come back.
Are we going to come back and do more, or are we going to Patreon?
We're going to read some questions from the latest video.
Oh, okay, good. Nice.
Let's see what those comments are. I haven't looked at them. Jeff was cold.
I was cold.
Who makes that jacket?
I don't know who makes it. You gave it to me. Somebody makes it here in America.
Can you see the tag in it?
No, wait, is it over here? Where's the tag?
Probably in the back, like a normal M65.
Yeah, so why would I be able to see that?
Let me see it.
I mean, I know I got...
This company, I don't know if they're still around. It is FSA, stands for... What the fuck does that say?
I don't know. I don't have my glasses.
Field Strip Apparel. And that's a double X or a triple X. It's really nice. I talked to the dude. Look that up for me on Instagram, Field Strip Apparel FSA. I talked to him years ago, and I wanted to do some multicam black red thread. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't execute. I don't know why we didn't do them. But the jacket's badass. This has been hanging in my workspace for years and years.
And now it won't be.
I think that's the one he had that he could send the fastest, is why I got that pattern. It's super cool.
You know, the only thing this thing needs is Marpat. Or a good solid M81 Woodland.
The Marine Corps doesn't even have Marpat.
They still have it. I mean, the leadership has not totally ruined the Marine Corps. Pretty close, but not totally.
All right, we're gonna do something. We're gonna read some comments here off of some of the other videos and interact with them. This is off. What video is this, Brandel?
42.
42.
Episode 42, which is the last one that went public. We just recorded what today?
56.
56.
January 3rd.
All right.
Holies of Holies.
Until everyone has to fight for their daily water, we won't be uncomfortable enough to push back. Sad truth.
I don't know about daily water. There's a lot of things that can make people uncomfortable. The current administration saying they can't pay any more fucking military pensions. That would make a lot of people fucking uncomfortable.
Unfortunately, to pay that, it's just make believe. They just fucking push some buttons.
When you're fighting for water, you're well in the fucking you're deep in the fucking rabbit hole. That's not the beginning. That's deep in the rabbit hole when you're fighting for water. Because the problem at that point is, when you're fighting for water, you're fighting with the people that you need the support of the most, anyways. Your fucking neighbors. So can't read it. You need to get your glasses. You say that every week. Just get a monocle. Just a monocle.
I need
It's like a
magnifying glass.
Just a
To
monocle.
Skully and John, never disappoint. Another great episode. Best wishes. Absolutely love hearing you guys talk. It's just a bunch of
Thank you. I don't
favorite
like
podcasts
it at
out
all.
there. Excellent. Keep it up.
I can't even watch the podcast because I don't like the way I sound or when
Great
I'm
podcast, great
all
show.
the time.
Skully, please check out Gen 4 nuclear plants, which can eat nuclear waste and can't mechanically melt down. They're building one in Kenmare, Wyoming right now.
Okay, when you say can't melt down, what you mean is they have not had a situation yet where they've melted down. It goes back to safety protocols, all things that are dangerous. You cannot create the power of the sun and it not have the capability of eating everything around it. Yes, I know that there are nuclear power plants that are way, way fucking better than what we had in the past. When they built Fukushima, you know what they said? This is way, way better than the nuclear power plants we had in the past. It's about what you are willing to sacrifice and destroy. If you can put that thing in Wyoming and Billings, Montana, and you don't give a fuck about Billings, Montana because you just don't give a fuck, well, okay, I don't care. I'm just, again, those things are super dangerous. And I know there's a fucking 100 nuclear power plants, small power plants that are running all over the United States all the time that have had no problem. The question is what you are willing to sacrifice. And people never think about the future. It's no different than we went from paper bags to plastic bags. Plastic bags were the fucking future, and now they're destroying the entire planet. Again, I know that nuclear power is probably the only really viable alternative energy source to fossil fuels, right? You're not going to get it with solar. You're not going to get it with fucking wind turbines. Nuclear power is really the only viable alternative source. Okay, but
You just take all those people.
again, it's people. It's a people problem. Eventually, you have a problem.
You take all those people that won't work.
Yeah, and move into Billings, Montana.
They won't keep themselves alive. We keep them alive, so you make them all ride bicycles. They have to turn the exercise bike that turns the alternator.
The problem is who is
the power.
deciding
Yes,
who,
I get
who
it.
rides the
Yeah.
bicycles. But yes, you're right. Nuclear power is the only viable alternative to fossil fuels. And I know that they are making better and better plants all the time. But it's about safety. So current nuclear plants, the safety manual is this big. This new Gen 4 plant, it's this big. And so you don't know the problem that the Gen 4 plant is going to have until it has the fucking problem. Look at the first nuclear accident in the United States and see how well that worked out for those guys.
Talking about the one in the laboratory where the dude cooked himself.
Where the rod blew him into the ceiling and melted him. Yeah.
This guy says the F-35 Lightning is pre-programmed to crash in such a way that the pilot ejects to minimize the compromise of sensitive technology on board the aircraft. That's why the emergency beacon did not activate. The aircraft most likely assumed the pilot ejected under hostile conditions and hostile territory.
There's only one beacon on those aircraft, and that is the air traffic control beacon. And when military aircraft are flying in pairs or greater, only one aircraft has its beacon on. They don't all have their beacons on. And so that aircraft was flying in a pair. So chances are he did not have his beacon on anyways, and that's why they couldn't track that aircraft. It was the other aircraft that had its beacon on. They don't when you have 10 F-15 Eagles flying in formation over Dodger Stadium, they don't all have their beacon on. It's usually just the lead aircraft.
All right, this guy says, I've seen the receipts for the guillotine back in the day. There were also receipts for the blades. There were even pics. The Obama 18,000 stainless steel guillotines.
I mean,
the internet's been scrubbed of it.
More importantly, I don't care about the receipts. Find that warehouse, because here's the thing.
I'd like to have one.
But here's the thing. It's been long enough that all those boxes got put in a warehouse somewhere, and they're just sitting in a fucking dilapidated warehouse because no one goes in there because they're like, the fuck we got guillotines for? Find that warehouse. It'd be cool to be able to get one of those guillotines.
Somebody here says they can make a coal-generated power plant that captures all the emissions.
I don't know if they can capture all of it, but they can do a pretty good job. Contrary to what fucking the noobs or the boobs in the Biden administration are telling you, is our coal-fired plants, our new ones, were already pretty goddamn good at scrubbing all that shit out of the environment anyways because of the EPA regulations that were put on them. Now, interestingly enough, that now as they shut those coal plants down, they're also destroying them. So you have no capability of restarting that technology.
They destroyed this one over here.
Which is super dumb, because you could just fucking board them up and then maybe, hopefully, you don't ever need them, but it's nice to have.
Well, I think that was the move, right? Because Trump turned them all on in full power, and we were moving coal all up and down the river. But that's the legacy, right? So this administration gets in, and what's the first thing they do? Turn them off, and then destroy them,
yeah.
right? So that if there was another term, even if he says, okay, turn them back on, they're no longer there.
Yeah.
And that's that. When we had some dudes come in here that worked, and they had been relocated an hour and a half away to a natural gas plant when they took these coal burners offline. And he said, we used to be able to ramp power up. I could send a dude to level 3 and turn a valve, and I could put a guy on level 2 and open a dormer, and we could immediately just push power in. He said, you can't do that with the natural gas. Like you're at what's there. There's no more flow of we can't just put more natural gas in there. He also said that those were General Electric plants, the new ones, and I think that he said they have a guy come. I thought he said it's either Germany or Japan, and they have to there's many times when they've had some issue, and they have to have a guy come in. Like there's not a dude that knows how to make that plant do the things that it's not supposed to do.
I bet it's Germany because they use a lot of natural gas.
Plastic bags are not available at many stores in Colorado. What about the people that reuse plastic grocery bags to clean up dog feces?
I mean, I don't know what the question
more power
is.
to you.
Yeah, good that you reuse your plastic bags. But again, those plastic bags, all those grocery plastic bags have a finite shelf life. They were supposed to be biodegradable, and they are not really biodegradable. What they're really doing is putting microplastics all in your water system, in everything that you touch, and so you're actually doing more harm than good. Again, pick up your dog poop, but you could have done that with a paper bag too.
Here's a dog poop trick too. If you just put on a latex glove, you can pick the dog shit up, turn it inside out, and just put it in the dumpster. We make several dog leashes. You can take our TK4 tourniquet pouch and slide your dog leash, slide it right on the dog leash, and you can safety pin it in place, and now you have that pouch that will hold those latex gloves. It'll also hold a 35 millimeter film can, which is what most of those dog poop bags come in. So if you want your dog poop bags on your dog leash, TK4 pouch, tourniquet pouch, and the dog leash, and you can do that.
And I don't know what you're responding to, but don't get me wrong. I do know that those fucking Walmart grocery bags are reusable, and they are they're handy to have, right? They're handy to get the trash out of your car. They're handy to have. But again, the problem that we are facing is we have no idea what these microplastics are doing to us in the long run. This is no different than PEBs or any of that shit.
PFAS.
We have no idea what it's doing to us in the long run. And those bags are contributing to putting microplastics into the ocean, into your drinking water, into everything. So again, we didn't have that problem when we were using paper.
But guys reuse those bags so much, so we make a bag. We make a bag that hangs wherever you want to hang it, and you put those bags in. You can pull them out the bottom. That thing we make it's a plastic bag sleeve. It's what it's on the website as, and you can put rolls of toilet paper for camping or whatever. But the forever plastics, like they say that every U.S. citizen right now has the equivalent of a full credit card in your body of those plastics. Think about this. Lately, in the last few years, you've heard when you receive a receipt, that's the worst culprit. All of your Starbucks cups are fucking bleeding plastics into your coffee. All those biodegradable cups. Also, but think about, you wipe your ass with toilet paper. What the fuck is on that toilet paper? Like, how many times has the FDA been busted out saying some shit's good for you? What's the fastest way to absorb something into your body? And you're wiping your ass with something that you just take for granted is healthy for you.
Those bears say it's good for you.
Yeah.
Soft.
Love the show, but think it's hilarious when you guys date drop and we don't get these videos until 3 months later. We'll stop being a broke, poor motherfucker. Pay your couple of dollars. I know you don't understand it, but there's a tab there that says join, and you're probably a fucking iPhone user also. So you can't do it on iPhone. You have to go to an actual computer.
What the fuck is wrong with iPhone?
YouTube or somebody told Apple you got to do this thing, and Apple said fuck you. So they won't let it. You can't join through your phone. There's some bullshit with them. But that's the deal. If you want these as current events, and when you join as a member, there's a ton of content behind that paywall. Anybody hearing this, if you'll just type out, do you you get your values worth being a member? Just type that out in a whole sentence so people who see it are aware of what that is. Fly-by-wire is the term for the electronic control of an aircraft, like the Airbus. Moving the stick needs an electronic signal.
Yep.
To a PCU to move a control surface. Older aircraft were controlled by cables and pulleys.
Yeah. We went fly-by-wire way sooner than everybody else did because this is America.
Martha Stewart did not go to prison for insider trading. She went to prison for lying to the FBI.
About insider trading.
Then later recanted her statement about how she got the insider information.
Yeah, she went to jail for insider trading, guys. Again, the FBI weren't asking her about what goes in her cookies.
Somebody
or
said
how much weed does Snoop Dogg smoke.
Somebody said I want to go to Monte Carlo and eat boogers with John.
Hey, let's go. If you got that, let's go. I would love to go to Monte Carlo with you and
eat boogers.
Eat boogers with John. I would love to do that.
After all the bullshit, YouTube finally recommended me something that's good. The algorithm actually worked for once. Well, Foxhound, it typically doesn't. I do a live every night at 9 o'clock right here on this YouTube. Every night almost at 9 o'clock. And the most common comment is, nobody told me you were live. I just found the video. And if you look at the video after I do the live, you'll only see the comments made after the fact. And every time, every one of those videos, there's somebody who's like, I knew you were live. YouTube wouldn't even let me get into it. And here I am watching it the next day. Pallet Buster on Amazon, $80. Well spent breaking down pallet. Yeah, I have it. You talking about that big, huge blue Pallet Buster, weighs like 30, 40 pounds. I have it. Stop buying fucking or taking pallet. Just buy them broke down. You can go to a pallet place. They will sell you an entire truckload of that shit. It is, if you pay yourself minimum wage, you are losing money breaking down pallets. That's the homeless motherfucker stealing copper cable out of people's houses, right? Stealing copper wire and then stripping it down. If you paid yourself minimum wage, you're not profiting.
Yeah.
I was a Navy nuke.
Nice.
Really got to chill out the fear porn around nuclear.
It's not fear porn.
Well, I mean, make some videos. Start telling people
why they're safe.
What you think the deal is.
Why everyone should have one in their home. We tried that already. I don't know if you remember the 1950s, where you could go get your foot X-ray to see what kind of shoe you wear.
Did you see the dental X-ray machine I got? I don't have it. I took some pictures of it. Yeah, sitting in Nashville.
Again, I'm not.
Now we can take pictures of inside of your head.
That would be cool. I'm not. You may think I'm fear mongering nuclear power. Again, I do know that it's the future, but stop pretending that it's as safe as you think it is, because it's not really that safe. Otherwise, you wouldn't have to have a specialty in order to operate the motherfucker. Anybody could do it. I could get old fucking Bucktooth Williams in there, and he could be like, "Yep, just turn this knob and it'd be fine." Nope, that's not how it works.
Did you have a guy named Bucktooth Williams?
Oh yeah, who doesn't?
No, I never heard it.
You have one.
I have one.
Yeah, you called him Tyler.
Oh. High Speed Podcast. Anyone here? Ladder lace might be an old air boom trick.
Ladder lace what? Their shoes?
I don't know what it is. Lobbyists are the policymakers and not the politicians. Yeah, no shit. We agree with you. No wood do have chimney that is set up for natural gas. Could convert in Southern California, so not too cold, but manageable. No, if you have a chimney that's burning natural gas, you're not fucking burning wood in it. I don't think it's even doable. Like the existing chimney, I don't think you can do it.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that particular question.
I think I have Young Jeezy something about the snow, because there was snow coming down. Dude, some of these are not making sense to me, having not listened to this podcast since we made it. Both parties are an embarrassment. Yeah, we agree with you. It's the uniparty is really what it is. All right.
That's it? That was 77 questions? That went pretty
quick.
Well,
those are the 77. Most of them are like, I love the podcast.
Oh. Well, you should say, I could be like,
we appreciate it, but it's not anything to build
I love
off
you.
Of it. All right, we're going to jump off of here and go do Patreon question and answer.
Good.
So if you're hearing this and you're wondering what happens over there, join the Patreon. You ask questions. We build the video off the questions that you guys ask. Right?
That is 100% what we do.
What song you want for your outro?
The Green one. Green. Not pink. Green. That's green. That's
This
blue.
one?
That's green.
That one?
Yeah. That's the one right there.
I built this thing from the bottom, they tore it down, I rebuilt it. I give myself a task, you can bet your ass I fulfill it. Yeah, man, I'm talking about realest, one of the realest.